Welcome yet again to another episode of Women in Business. This is Doreen Kemcha and Women in Business on Smart 24 TV. A lot is said about the woman, and we love at Women in Business to keep on tracking her, talking about her inspiring business journey, as well as the linkages to mentorship and resources. So, today we have a particular special guest, amazing young woman, Miss Olga Nichols Walusimbi. I'll just take you through. She has quite a different number of things about her. Human resource and operations at Walusimbi's Garage Limited, which was, by the way, established in 1973 and is a family business. She also is a lover of art and community engagement and work. Delighted to have you, Olga.
Hello, thank you for having me.
It's amazing the things that you do. One, I know you just came back recently. You haven't even spent 6 months in the country.
It's only been 3 months.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much.
And here you are in a family business established way back in 1973.
Yes.
You have also celebrated just 50 years recently?
Yes, just this February we celebrated 50 years in business and most of this registration of the business.
Yeah.
But the business is way older than that in its practice.
How does it feel? How does it feel coming back home?
Oh my gosh.
Was it willingly?
Well, I'm going to say it was sub-willingly. No, I love being back home. One, it was a bit hard at first, because it's a different environment. I was in a US market and then coming back to an African market, two different markets. So it was a bit hard, since I spent over 20 something years abroad.
Really?
So yes, but I felt nudged to come back and work in the family business. I was getting all this work experience. I had completed my education, and I thought, why shouldn't I invest what I know in business back home?
Yeah. You see, I think to me what inspires me the most is long time ago the women played a huge role in the shadows.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And not much was said about them.
Oh,
they
absolutely.
were part of the businesses that were there, but they played their huge roles in the background.
Yes.
They actually gave advice. They did all these things in the shadows. But right now you have women coming out. Women for the last couple of years have been coming out and taking over and giving the advice and taking the reins. This is a family business. This is a family business. 50 years. How does it feel getting into those huge shoes?
Oh, absolutely. It's a challenge. It is a challenge. It's also very humbling because, while the path was laid, before us, by those who came before us, you also want to, not only make them proud, but also you're trying to keep the business going, but at the same time, keep up with the market, so the market that we have. And, because we have global markets in Uganda currently. So you have to think about all those factors involved. And, it can be challenging, but also exciting.
But I also know for sure that the pace, the business pace out there sometimes is a little bit faster. Yes, we have this globalization. There's that very seamless, strata, the seamless space that is happening between every country
Absolutely,
in the entire world.
Because of technology.
Yeah,
yes.
because of that. How is the pace when you compare? Because there are so many things right now that basically affect the woman in business in Uganda and elsewhere as well.
Oh,
what
yes.
are those differences that came out that stood out for you?
Oh,
when
that's
you came back?
right away when I came back. What stood out for me was, people were expecting a man in my position.
Yes.
And, while obviously, we internationally and globally, we haven't, mastered or figured out, gender equality, it's still more prevalent in Africa. I won't say that in the US sometimes there weren't times when people were expecting a man in my position because of my education background. But, coming back to Uganda, I keep reminded of how does it feel being a woman? Or sometimes people will approach you or people walk into my office and they give you that look like this is not who I was expecting.
Like they
yes,
expected
somebody,
a man
yes.
and a huge man at
Absolutely, So that was very evident, that was one of the things that was very evident. Also, the work ethic is totally different. I came from a culture that predominantly takes work seriously and there is accountability. Whereas, coming to Uganda, it's almost like there was a lot of micromanaging. you know, in our society. There's a lot of micromanaging, you know, and I think because of the lack of mentorship, because people graduate will have degrees, will have master's degrees, but do not know no practical experience or even, you know, any kind of work in the field. So that was, you know, a challenge because I was expecting people to be a certain level, you know, with a certain degree or certain degree of education or even work experience, and it wasn't up to par. So that was evident.
Getting back, you mentioned that in most cases you have had that, you know, one or two old people come in and they expect to find a huge man.
Right.
And here you are, a
Yes.
lady, young,
Yes.
petite, trim, right? And the majority, do you have those instances whereby someone has come in and they've blatantly asked you, oh, can I see the general manager? Can
Right.
I?
Yes.
Have they asked you that?
Not really. Good thing it doesn't happen in my office because they know whose office they're going into. But sometimes when I've been on the premises and, you know, I'll find, you know, people walking around or potentially new clients, and I'm polite. Hello, may I help you? Have you been helped? You know, then they'll ask for somebody, you know, without. It would ask for someone in management, you know, yes, assuming, and it's very much okay. And for me, as long as it's not condescending, it's absolutely fine. Those shocks are going to be there because of the society we live in and what, you know, come before us.
This is car dealership.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And you must get to know, of course, like any other person in business, you must know your product.
Yes.
Okay? And down to the fingertips.
Absolutely.
So I can imagine someone coming in, one gets through the shock of expecting to find someone older,
yes.
finds a young one, finds expecting to comes expecting to find someone male,
yes.
finds a young woman, not even just woman, but young as
yes.
well. And then comes in maybe expecting to find someone ignorant,
right?
Maybe
ignorant?
Yes. Yes. And then you are here with every detail concerning cars, whether it's Yamaha, whether it's Toyota, on your fingertips.
Yeah.
How do you deal? Do you have to be assertive to bring out all this, or you just take it in as it comes?
Well, both. It has to be a balance of both. You know, you have to take it in as it comes, what you're dealing with, you know. But then also you have to be assertive from the get-go. You have to have that confidence, you know, so that they understand that you know what you're talking about. And you must know what you're talking about, you know, especially as a woman. Unfortunately, you know, we have to prove ourselves much more than men have to. That's the reality. We can't get away from it. So you have to be knowledgeable. You have to be more knowledgeable. So yes, we do get that where, you know, someone gets surprised, but as they continue to speak to you, then they understand, okay, well, I'm talking to somebody who can help me here, or who can fix my problem, who can give me a solution to what I need.
But things are changing.
Yes.
Things are changing. Mm-hmm. I think right now these are opportunities that are there for the taking.
Yes.
Yes, maybe within your particular space you have to fight 10 times more.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
But the awesome thing about it, and this is why women in business is keen on the journeys of women such as yourself,
right,
is that the moment you break through,
yes,
not even just break through, the moment you come into that space,
yes,
you make it easier for the next woman to come in.
Absolutely.
As well.
Yes.
You make it much easier for the next woman to come in.
Yes.
Have you?
And
sorry.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
What do you think about that? Does it like give you so much pressure? Like
not so much. And you know, thankful for me, and rest in peace. You know, my mother was the managing director at Wellington Biz Garage for a while. You know, for over a decade. So that sort of paved the way for me. You know, and however, I'm also still not my mom. I still almost have to make my own journey and make my own way and prove. You know, but that sort of helped. You know, so do I feel pressure to make a way for other women? I think we do it by doing what we need to do. So I don't necessarily feel the pressure, but I feel like if I do what I'm supposed to do, then I'm going to pave the way for other women as well.
What do you think makes it, talking right now, what do you think makes it easier for example, Indian families, right?
Yes.
You will notice that most, not even just, okay, let's keep it in the context of Uganda.
Yes.
Most Ugandan families that date back, just as yours, 50 years back, don't make it.
Right.
They tend to struggle quite often. Whereas the Indian, with their children, and I'm not even mentioning this for the first time, this is like the second or third time.
Right.
is that they tend to bring in their children and immerse them in the business from as early on, from
Yes.
way back early.
Right.
And even when they're studying something, right? They're pursuing careers that are going to be
yes,
linked
beneficial
back
to the business. Yes.
linked back to the business. And even when they get out of the country or
Yeah.
something, they still keep in touch. They never move far away.
Right.
How was it for you, knowing that you spent quite a long time
Yes.
abroad
Yeah.
and coming back with a unique perspective?
Right.
How did it work out that you came back and
Yes.
are here?
Good point. You know, as you mentioned with the Indian families, that's one of the biggest success. The factors, you know, why they succeed is because they bring the children in earlier on and they educate them, they immerse them in the business. Whereas for us, you know, you can watch your parents, but we're not necessarily brought into the business early in life. You know, for me, how it ended up working out was that, you know, it worked out that I got the experience there, the education, and, you know, so I brought that back into the business. But even before I left, I was working for the business here and there. You know, I would see my mom do things, and in 2011 is when she appointed me in the current position. So while I've just returned permanently for the last 3 months, I have been learning the business as well. You know, although I wasn't permanently here, but I have been learning little by little. But it is definitely a lot different if I was hands-on in the business when I was much younger than now, because, you know, but the good thing now is that now I bring the outside experience is what helps. Whereas, you know, maybe a child that grew up learning from only that particular business will, you know,
have a
won't
narrowed
a narrow view and won't have an opportunity for growth, as some of us who have gone out and brought that back into the business and, you know, to better it.
I'm going to ask I'm going to ask a couple of personal questions.
Yes, go ahead.
During that time when you were abroad, were you sensitized? Were you involved in one? I know you were studying and doing your own thing. Were you like told about the business or consulted in some of the decision making, or they let you go? Did they actually tell you, no, Olga, by the way, do what you're doing, but you're coming back home? This is the family. Was it like that for you?
Actually, no. I wish it was like that, you know, and maybe it wouldn't have worked that way, because when I went there, I thought I'm gonna come back right away. You know, there's no way I'm gonna be out there for that long. But then remember, you grow, you know, you grow and then you learn, and then there's more, and then there's the next level, and then you get this other position, and then you're the manager, and then you're in the district council, and you get all those things, you know. So while I planned on coming back, that's not how life panned out. But, you know, I got to a point where I thought, I am making other people rich with my skills and my talents and my knowledge and my education. I can go not only make my own, you know, business and family rich, but my community. Let me take back what I've learned and, you know, to my community.
So the love remained in your heart.
Absolutely, yes. You
And
know?
I think it is that is where the entire difference is.
Yes.
If you don't have a love for a particular business, whether it's family, whether it is your own,
yes,
you will always shift away. The next big thing that comes in will always shift you away.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And that's more like having a vision. You know, if you don't have a vision, I always say that a vision is like an address. If you don't have an address, how do you know where you're going? You're going to get lost. So a vision is that address. It keeps you back on track. You know, like I said, while I thought I was going to come back right away and it didn't happen, remember that was my vision already. Is I had that desire to come back. So eventually it was manifested.
How are you dealing with the challenges? Because I know I know, number one, this is maybe the society. I also know how our Ugandan society is. There's quite a lot of competition right now. It's different from what you left.
Yes.
So you didn't just find an open door when you came back.
Absolutely not.
How did you deal? Well, I'm very happy that she's honest. I'm very happy that she's honest, because some people don't talk about these things, right? They just don't. Yes. And not only just within the inside, but also from the outside as well. Everyone is sort of like these are big shoes you're feeling. And right now you also have to leave your own mark as well.
Oh,
you have to grow it bigger, leave your own mark. So what are those particular challenges that you met when you came back, and how did you handle them?
Oh, let's first talk about the exterior challenges, the competition. You know, I mean, Wallace in this garage is the oldest, you know, dealership. However, now we've got a lot more dealerships. We've got a lot more brands, you know, and also smaller shops, you know, coming up, whether, you know, officially registered or not, there's still competition, you know. So, but, you know, I like to think of competition as healthy. There is healthy competition. It pushes you to grow. So the way I saw it was, what can I bring to the table from what I've learned? What can I use to be able to get to this competition? And thankfully, you know, I had some skills and I had learned some things. I had gone through some challenges, because challenges, as I said, they make you grow. So luckily for me, I had gone through a lot of challenges that, you know, when I realized, oh, there is competition here. I had come from a world of competition. So I didn't necessarily see it as a bad thing, but also to push, you know, we're still working on a few things, but to push to grow and to be able to compete in the markets, and not just in Uganda, but also globally.
Okay, so talking about that, because your perspective definitely is different.
Yes.
You are looking at competition like it's healthy.
Yes. It is.
Yes, it is, but most don't.
Yeah, we need it. We need it to grow. Who wants to stay in the same space?
Most don't. They want to monopolize it. Yes, and we do have those that do, yes, have that view, and then those that don't. Okay, so there are those ones. Me, I'm telling you now what is out there. There are those ones basically that are going to pull you down, try to look at you as a complete threat. You've just come in, and they will do everything possible to pull. How are you prepared for that person that wants to pull you down?
Yes. One thing that I always take upon myself is I compete with myself, and I'm my own challenge. So if somebody wants to come take me down, it's not so much, I don't focus more on them. I focus on the goal that I have to do. Again, that address, that vision where I'm going is what keeps me going, is what tells me that in spite of, and of course we're human beings, you know, we're human beings in an imperfect world. So things are going to come up. But once you have that vision, once you're focused, you have to remain focused. And you have to be intentional, so that no matter what comes, you know, when the waves come, yeah, you might shake a little bit, but then you always go back to the drawing board. You always go back to that vision. What am I going to do? That's what fuels you.
And that's true, because when you keep thinking about what everyone is thinking about you get distracted.
Oh, absolutely. Those are distractions.
Yeah. But you must also have a very rigid backbone, very strong backbone to be able to actually go through this.
Yes.
Have you received mentorship?
Oh, I love mentorship. That's
women in business is very keen on mentorship.
Yes.
Have you received some sort of mentorship?
Oh, absolutely. I believe mentorship is crucial. We can never learn enough. You know, we're always going someplace where somebody else has been. Why don't you want the shortcut and get the information from that person who has already been there? So I have been blessed to have mentors, you know, who have been in this business before, even if looking at it competitively, like, you know, Spear Motors, Mr. Wavamno has been a great mentor. It's the same, you know, it's not competition, it's a different brand. But also, you know, like late Mr. Mwan, you know, once in a while I've called on Mr. Vitature to help me out. And so we've had, you know, and now I'm just mentioning men, you know, but, you know, we have to have that balance, you know. A lot of times we think mentorship for women should be by women, you know, but that's not necessarily it. In business, is it only women in business? No. It's a broad perspective of personalities, of estrogen, of testosterone. So you need to have both. You need to.
I actually had one. I had one mentor, seasoned mentor.
Yes.
And she's so full of life and so vibrant. Yes. And she said, really, when it comes to her space into incubators and accelerators, business-wise, she's a mentor, a great mentor. She said she preferred to actually receive mentorship from men. Because she wasn't going to, because what is it about? What is it about the man? Do they, and what can the woman who wants to mentor others speak from this?
Right.
What is it about it?
So, you know, and feminists might not be happy with this, you know, but we talk about equality, and I believe in equality. Yeah. But we have to accept that men and women, we're wired differently. Yeah. You know, that's why we have different hormones, and, you know, if we go into science and everything. But we need that masculine energy sometimes in business. we can't always just bring our feminine energy. So being mentored by that different perspective by these men, and women in combination, builds, something very beautiful that, while we need to be probably sensitized in some areas or be sensitive, or like customer service, we need to bring our nurturing side, or, our rational and softer side. But then also sometimes you need to close a deal. No one's going to listen to me if I'm being a meek lady and I'm being a nice Muganda lady, kneeling down, and no one's going to listen to me. Sometimes
well, that's an extreme.
Very specific.
That's an extreme. That's an extreme. Yes, I can imagine you in the boardroom and and you are kneeling down as a Muganda. It doesn't make sense.
Right. So you have to bring, as like I said, business has all these different energies, different, you're dealing with different people. So you have to receive from different people. You have to receive mentorship, information, knowledge from different people. And it's important for us women to get mentorship from men.
Yeah. Do you think that we tend to, in one way, as women in business, that we tend to manipulate or to rely on the feminine side more, and in one way or another this works against us? Do you think?
Yes,
do you think that
I think that does. Think about it. Culturally, even though sometimes, or maybe religiously, a man is the head of the household. Think about it. Women typically run households, right? But sometimes we think we're going to run households the way we run business. Households are more flexible.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes, households are more flexible. Yes, in business, you have to be flexible to an extent.
But those are two different.
You cannot bring in your most understanding self. When you're running home, you have to bring in your most understanding self. You have to bring in that emotional, that, therapeutic, kind of your side in order to deal with certain things in the home. But a business, as women, sometimes we want to bring our emotions in, and a lot of times women don't want to talk about this, but sometimes we want to bring our emotions in business. And business, yes, emotions have no place in business, because emotions are fickle, feelings are fickle, they're going to change. So a lot of times women, we like to bring, emotions into business, but that doesn't really, work. Those are two different things. In business, there's structures and systems that are not going to change for you because something happened with your child. At home, something happened with your child, so you have to be flexible. You have to talk about, whoever the adults are in the household, like who's going to stay, who's going to take the child, or even if it's it's a single parent, you still have to be more nurturing and emotional and softer, in order to run your household. But in business, it doesn't work that way. You're going to get left behind. So somebody comes in and then you're talking about emotions, and because you don't like the person, or you're not going to close the deal, or because you're offended.
They don't care. They don't care about that.
Because you're offended a little bit.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. That's not how it works. So I want to urge us as women to think about, to compartment. Yes. Yeah, I want to urge women to compartmentalize. We need to learn to compartmentalize. There's this saying that men are like waffles, so they're compartments. And then we women are spaghetti. We like to mix everything, hodgepodge. We have to learn to compartmentalize and put things in little boxes and be able to deal with them later, because otherwise we're going to mix up so many things, find ourselves in this tight rope that we wonder, how did we get ourselves there? Also, we have to learn how to code switch. A lot of times people think of code switch as just language, the accent I use, or the actual different language that I use. Could be Uganda, it could be Spanish, it could be anything. That's not it. We have to learn how to code switch. If I'm going to sell to somebody, I have to know who I'm selling to. I have to get a little personal. What do I mean by getting a little personal?
You must know about them.
You must know about them. You must know what they want. Because you're not going to sell to me a bull. I'm not in need of a bull, So you have to know what this person wants. So we have to learn how to code switch in the language that we use. You may have a client that they do not want to hear anything that's slightly even emotional. Don't even go there. Then you have another client that may want to possibly be spoken to a certain way. You have to go there. I'm not saying be deceptive, but I'm saying you have to learn to be wise. Code switch. Read the room, as we say these days. Read the room. Figure out who you're dealing with.
Olga, If this is amazing. We have to match your pace as well. We have to take it in because this is great. These are great tips from someone who is working within a particular line of business. Let's take a short break and we'll be right back after these messages.